This is a homemade smoker that I built primarily out of repurposed materials. The tank, well, let's start from the bottom. Starting from the bottom, the wheels are from a roll-around toolbox. They are 5" by 2". One side's fixed, one side swivels. The framing is from some battery rack tear-outs at a data center. It's 3/16" thick C channel. The Firebox is 1/4" plate that came from the salvage yard that I paid 25 cents a pound for. But I bought about 600 pounds of steel and I used pretty much every bit of it on this Firebox. The air intake dampers, they just slide. It's a piece of 5/8 OD 1/8" wall DOM tube and some spring handles that I bought off eBay. They are stainless. What I did was I filled the end of the tube and rounded it over with a grinder and just painted it black. But they just slide back and forth, and it flows pretty great. I mean, that thing flows really well. The door, same thing. A bunch of reused parts. That would be a pulley from a Woods belly mower where the bearing seized, and I just bought a whole new pulley with a bearing in it. So I had an old pulley. That's a sprocket from a KLR 650. That's a sprocket from a Triumph Tiger. The door is the same 1/4" material. The handle is also 5/8 DOM. It just swings open like so. Real simple mechanism. It's a piece of 3/16" by 1.5" wide flat bar, and that's also from a battery rack tear out at the data center. And I just welded a stop on there so that the handle stays in the up position when open. But and then I framed it out. That's 3/4". No, wait a minute. Take that back. It's 1.5" wide by 3/16" thick angle. That used to be lifting brackets from industrial switchgear. I just trimmed all that up to work. Same with the flange for the Firebox. 1.5" angle by 3/16" thick. I used more of the angle. You can't really see it, but there's a fire grate that allows for 2 inches of air to get up underneath the fire. And as you can see, I've got her stacked with some red and white oak, ready for the next burn. Alright, there's that. The warming box, same 1/4" material. The door is probably the thinnest thing on the whole build. The door is, I'd say, probably a piece of 18 gauge. It's a shelf from a server rack. Same with the door handles on everything. 5/8 DOM. Of course, we're going to have a bottle opener on there, because what goes better with smoking than drinking a couple beers. The hinge is brake rotors from Ford Ranger. Same simple mechanism, just flat bar, and that's also flat bar bent to 90 for the stop. It just grabs the inside flange. I got lift out shelves. They used to be part of a server rack. You got an adjustable damper to slide open or close to control the temperature of the warming box, and that would be a ball joint from a sway bar end link from a Toyota Sequoia, and finished it off with some high temperature wood stove door gasket with some high temperature silicone holding it in place, and that works great, and that makes for a real nice seal. Those holes are original from the shelf. That's how it clipped into the rack, and I just left them alone because it provides a positive enough flow where I don't need a stack on that. And when I'm at smoking temperatures, this thing stays around 125, which is pretty much what you want for warming. But these are 5-inch OD silicone filled tail true gauges. Got them off a eBay seller, and as you can see, I bought 3 of them. The surround on top to protect it is a piece of 6-inch well pipe, 1/4 inch thick. I just built this last night. It's just a shelf for the thermometers. I've got a Maverick digital with dual probes, and I've also got a ThermoWorks instant read. It just lays in there. That lifts out, and you can take it upstairs and wash it in the sink. Rubber grommets. Goes right into your smoke chamber to keep from pinching your wires in the door. This catch here would be another Triumph sprocket, and that used to be a camshaft from a Honda generator that I sliced in half, and it actually makes a real nice, well, as you can see, makes a nice seal. You actually have to smack it to get her to stay shut, so not a terrible thing. Got 2 racks inside, constructed from brand new 1/2 inch by 9/11 expanded metal. The framing is 3/4 by 1/8 inch, and they just slide right out. The handles are from another data room tear out. They're aluminum, so I had to bolt them from the underside. Since you can't weld aluminum to steel, so I had to bolt them from the underside. That's all right. This is a reverse flow. I don't know if you can see in there, but it's a V-shaped bottom that runs downhill. And I got a piece of 1.5 inch by 1/4 inch angle on the very bottom, runs all the way to the end to a 2-inch clean out. And I boxed the inside so that not only is it a reverse flow diffuser for a more even heat, more even temperature throughout the whole smoke chamber, but it's a grease catch. The ball valve is for cleaning it out. But also, and this is the very best part, well, I guess I should have brought a flashlight out here with me, but on the left side, the heat and smoke is forced to come out of the firebox, run across the bottom, and then it comes up here before it does a 180 to go up the stack. And I can fill that pan with about 20 gallons of water, so it can steam and smoke at the same time. So I've done a couple shoulders in it already, and man, talk about tender, unreal. The stack is more 6-inch by 1/4 inch wall well pipe. We've got some high temperature gasket on the door. This tank, obviously, it's a 275 gallon oil drum, but it is from the late 40s, early 50s. So it's 10 gauge, which they don't make them like that anymore. It's pretty thick. I mean, that's like 1/8 inch thick. I mean, it's got a couple dents in it, but hey, it was free. You know what I mean? So I burned it out really good. I mean, I burned that thing so hot. It was burning for 4 days. You couldn't even get near it. It was like the sun. So the door is counterbalanced. Got some U-bolts welded on. Some 3/16 stainless cable. A little trapeze on the back made out of 5/8 DOM. The pulleys and cable and the thimbles for the end there, the eyes for the cable, they all came from Tractor Supply. These are angle brackets that were on the ripped out battery racks. I welded them on and bored them out for shackle mounts, and I got one on each corner so I can drag it up in my trailer and lash it down. But I did a test run the other day. I was able to get it up in the trailer all by myself in about 30 minutes, and that's not so bad. That tells me I don't need to build a trailer for it. I never did plan on building a trailer for this one anyway, so that's a good thing. Let's see, back to the counterbalancer. It's a piece of rectangle tube. I got it full of about 50 pounds of washers. So there's my counterweight. And for guides, so the thing ain't flopping around when I'm transporting it on a trailer, I welded a piece of 3/16 angle on the back, and I bolted some pretty awesome machined billet pullback handlebar risers for a motorcycle. I've had them hanging in my building for about 10 years. I bought them for a Blackbird I was building and wound up never using them, but they look pretty awesome right there, so hey, I'm happy. There's the stack. That consists of more DOM tube. The cap is 1/4 inch plate, shaped to fit. The DOM passes through 2 Ducati wheel bearings from a Multistrada. The top gear is from a Honda Metropolitan transmission, and you can see you just swivel that thing on around, and there's another piece of 1/4 inch, a little tab that I rounded off, welded on there. It's a stop. So there's that. There's my weed burner. That's what I use to start the fire, and that's a tip from a good friend. Now that is a great tip right there. You fire that thing up and get it for about 30 bucks at any hardware store. Fire that thing up, stick it in the Firebox, and about 3 minutes later you're burning. But there we go. There's my redneck homemade smoker, and the thing cooks pretty darn fantastic. This is the second one I've made. This is how I spend my free time. I've been welding and fabricating as a hobby for, I guess, about 4 years now. I got bit by the bug about 5-6 months ago. I built a small smoker, which I recently sold on eBay, and I built a little bigger one so I can cook for lots of people when I feel like it. Oh yeah, I don't think I talked about this. This is a wood preheat box. And you're like, alright, what do you need a wood preheat box for? Well, if you've never smoked before, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but when you preheat your wood, I don't care if it's kiln dried and perfectly dry, but if it's not superheated, when you throw that wood in that firebox, you're going to lose about 40 degrees of temperature. And so if you lose 40 degrees off of 225, of course that's going to slow your cook down. So when you preheat your wood, even, you know, I don't care how dry the wood is. That's not the point. The point is to get the temperature up so that when you throw it in the firebox, you don't lose any time, and it allows you to control the smoke. As soon as you throw that in that firebox when it's been preheated, it will immediately ignite with very little smoke, so your food doesn't end up tasting like an ashtray. But so that's a nice little tip I've learned from some online searching and advice from good people. There's a pretty nice forum over, it's called AdventureRider.com. There's some good people on there, and there's a smoker thread on there. I've learned some real good things from some people on there. But there we go. There's my gem. But this thing took about 5 months to build. I'm pretty happy with it. I've only done about 4 racks of ribs in it and about 10 pounds of pork shoulder, but that's all about to change real soon. We'll have that thing slammed up and smoking away here soon. Cooking for lots of people. So that's it. That's about all I can say. I hope you like it. And anybody got any questions, I'll be glad to help anybody. I just like building stuff. It's pretty fun. Alright. Thank you for looking.